to introduce your commencement speaker, Dr. Lorianne Parker. Dr. Parker has her PhD in philosophy from Binghamton University in Binghamton, New York. She works at the Frist Center for the Visual Arts, where she has been the editor for almost 4 years. Her academic background, which included work in aesthetics and art history, combined with her editing and teaching experience, enabled her to secure the position at the Frist Center. Her academic interests have also enabled her to give gallery talks at the Frist Center, which she does on top of her editorial duties. In addition to her studio work and Frist Center responsibilities, Dr. Parker is engaged in ongoing academic projects. Currently, she is working on a project about the relationship between embodiment and illness, and in May presented a paper which she plans to turn into a book on that topic at a national philosophy conference. In addition to her editorial career, Dr. Parker has taught college-level introductory philosophy, critical thinking, and aesthetics courses. She firmly believes that education opens doors and encourages students to stay committed to their educational goals. Last year, she was selected as a national spokesperson for the American Heart Association's Go Red for Women campaign. As one of the Go Red women, she has had the opportunity to spread awareness about the risks of heart disease in women and talk to women about the importance of establishing habits that prevent heart disease. In April, she met with members of the U.S. House and Senate and lobbied in support of legislation supporting heart disease prevention and research. Please help me welcome Dr. Lorianne Parker.
Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. I'm so pleased to be here today. One reason, because I actually taught a few years ago at the Art Institute critical thinking. So I was really honored and excited to be asked to speak with you today. And I had never been on a steamboat either, especially for a commencement ceremony. So whoever had the idea to do the ceremony on this boat, it was a marvelous idea. To begin, I want to offer you my deepest congratulations. Whatever your individual backgrounds and personal stories may be, however it is that you arrived to this moment, today has only come about as a result of great tenacity, effort, and skill. I am incredibly honored to be speaking here with you, the 2011 graduating class of the Art Institute of Tennessee, Nashville, on this special morning when all of your hard work has finally paid off and you prepare to move into the next phases of your lives. Today, as you celebrate this transition with your fellow graduates, friends, families, and Art Institute instructors and faculty members, I want to talk with you about the role of the artist, what it means to be an artist, and the importance of aesthetics in the world. Artists have always been invaluable, and I believe that this has never been more true. We live in an incredibly fast-paced global culture that brings new challenges and discoveries to us every day. In such a world, we need those individuals who are willing to grapple with the new information that is constantly arriving at our doorsteps. Artists, you are such individuals. Artists are willing to ask questions when others won't. Artists are willing to suggest that something could be made better and to find ways of doing just that. Artists are willing to create novel combinations of cultures, expressions, histories, and even ways of knowing. Artists appeal to the senses by offering new sights, sounds, taste, and sensual experiences, whether it be cutting-edge designs, fusion cuisines, experimental music, or exciting hybrid art forms. In short, the world needs you. Being an artist is your gift to the world. You have already made a commitment to the arts, whether as students in the departments of culinary, audio, fashion and retail management, digital film and video production, graphic design, interior design, photographic imaging, or web design and interactive media. You made a commitment to arts and to yourselves as artists the very minute you decided to attend the Art Institute and chose to pursue the path of creativity instead of another sort of life. You honored that impulse within you. Know how brave that was. Also know that the life of an artist comes with great responsibility. So, what is an artist? If we go back to the ancient Greeks for a moment, specifically to the philosopher Plato, we find the notion of the artist as trickster. This is because for Plato, the fine artist is engaged in the realm of mere imitation. A painter paints a picture of a chair instead of building a real chair. A poet writes a poem about a house instead of building a real home. Plato was so convinced of the artist's devious ways that he even suggested they should be banished from cities if those places were going to be just and good places to live. Regarding this idea that imitation is something not quite as valuable as the real thing, I want to suggest, and heartily suggest, that Plato was wrong. As we all know, these imitations of life have such power. One could even argue that it is precisely because of their power that Plato was so threatened by such imitations and the artists responsible for making them. Stop for a minute and think. Think of a song and a piece of music you've heard that has been especially moving to you. What could be more real? Think about a time, graduates, during your student life when you achieved something you would have never thought possible. A beautiful drawing, an incredible video, a dynamic website, a cutting-edge interior design concept, a stunning photograph the likes of which you've never before seen, a bite of food so delicious that you and those of you who were lucky enough to taste it with you kept thinking about it and talking about it for days after. Again, I ask, what could be more real? As an artist, among the gifts you have to give is your willingness to shape your ideas into experiences. You are willing to share what is inside rather than keeping it to yourself. In a sense, you are tricksters, but only because artists are capable of creating such wonder and surprise. Elsewhere, Plato, who lived at a time in the West when oral traditions were being supplanted with written language, suggests that stories, once written down, take on a life of their own that isn't the case when stories are shared orally. Written words establish a certain independence from their makers. That is, once the author has written his or her text, it then passes into the hands of another who reads it, and then on to another, until eventually the text is read while the author is nowhere in sight. Each reader adds to a text, changing it through interpretation and taking away from it what he or she needs. The artist relinquishes control as soon as his or her words are committed to the page. As artists, this is what you're going to be asked to do throughout your entire lives. Come up with an idea, shape it, release it into the world at large, and then sit back no longer in control as it gathers its own momentum. Such willingness isn't for the faint of heart. It can be especially difficult to give your ideas, yourselves, out there into the wider community, especially because you have to give up control. It can make you feel vulnerable and exposed. This is certainly understandable. The important point is that you do it anyway. The fact that you are here today means that you've already begun to do just that. A commitment to artistry also means being willing to listen and respond to the events that happen to you, to listen to your histories, and to allow yourselves to work from the most personal of spaces. Today is a great day. It's a day of celebration, congratulations, hope, and even love for your friends and family who are here with you. But you've all had, and will have again, days that aren't as wonderful as this one. In fact, you will likely have terrible days, maybe even times when you look around yourselves and you don't know your next move. What matters is how you respond to such times. Be willing to excavate your past, your present, your family's past, your traditions, your rituals, and make art from those places. Doing so will not only help you get through difficulties, but will also open the doors to new ways of creating. Doing so is the key to acting aesthetically in a way that is uniquely you. If you are willing to conduct your lives honestly, you will surprise yourselves again and again. The reason I'm advising you to honor your life as a source is for many reasons, but one reason is because of something that happened to me. And I'm going to admit up front, this is a somber story, but it has a happy ending, one that culminates in multiple locations, including this moment right now with all of us together.